Okay, so this is building on what we've already done with ratio. What I want to make it clear, though, when we are doing this, is that if you have a ratio, for example, of 3 to 4, or you can write it as 3 to 4, that does not mean that the side is 3 and that the other side is 4. It means that 3 times some number and 4 times the same number, so let's call this x, because you don't know what it is. X divided by x, those are going to cancel each other out or divide each other out, and so you have a ratio of 3 to 4. So for example, let's say x is 10. So we have 3 times 10 over 4 times 10. So this side would be 30, and this side would be 40. It just means that when you simplify it, you're still going to have that ratio of 3 to 4. So when we start example 1, you might want to pause it and write this down before we dive into the diagram. The ratio of a rectangle's length and width is 3, 2. That does not mean that the side is 3 and the other side is 2. The perimeter equals 60 meters. Find the length and the width. So what that means is that we have a rectangle, and it has a ratio of 3 to 2. Again, we don't know what this number is, so all we can put is x. But we know with a rectangle that both pairs of opposite sides are congruent, so if this is 3x, and so is that one. If this is 2x, then so is that one. And we know that anything dealing with perimeter is the distance around. So I know that 2x plus 2x plus the 3x plus the other 3x has to equal 60, or 60 meters. So I have combining like terms, I get 4x plus 6x equals 60. Combining like terms, I get 10x equals 60, so I get x to equal 6. So let's think about what we just found. So x equals 6. But I'm looking for the length and the width. I'm going to have to go back and substitute 3 times my 6 that I just found and 2 times my 6 that I just found. So it gives me a length and a width of 18 and 12. And those would be meters. Let's see. And if you look back in the original problem, it says length and width is 3 to 12. So to me, that is telling you that the 3 represents the length because of the order that it's written in, and width represents the 2. So that's why the 18 is first and the 12 is second. Going on to the next one. Again, you might want to just pause it and write this problem down. The ratio of angles of a triangle is 3 to 4 to 5. Well, it makes sense because we know that there are 3 angles in a triangle. And the ratio of the angles, well, you got to think about what do we know about the angles of a triangle? Well, we know that they equal 180. So going back to what we just did on the other one, we know then that it is not 3 plus 4 plus 5 equal to 180, because that wouldn't make any sense. We're looking for that common number. So we're going to, again, call that x. So 3x plus 4x plus 5x, those 3 angles has to equal 180 degrees. Combining like terms, I get 12x equals 180, so x equals 15. So let's look at the question. What is the measure of each angle? So I have to put the 15 in for x in each one of those. So I have 3 times 15 gives me a 45 degree angle. 4 times 15 gives me a 60 degree angle. And 5 times 15 gives me a 75 degree angle. These better add up to 180. So I get 105 plus 75 does give me 180. So our answer is reasonable. And finally, example 3. The rectangle has sides with the ratios of 3 to 4. The area of the rectangle is 108 centimeters squared. Remember, area, we're dealing with squared. Find the measure of the sides. So what do we know about a rectangle? Well, we know that it looks like this. A ratio of 3 to 4. So again, it's not a side of 3 and a side of 4, but it is 3 times some number and 4 times some number. And we know that the area equals 108 centimeters squared. Well, how do we find area? Area is length times width. My length or my width is 3x times my width of 4x should equal my area of 108. Algebra, remember how to multiply. 3 times 4 does give you 12, but x times x is not x. It is x squared. And when we are solving, you solve for the variable first. So you're going to get rid of the 12 by dividing. So x squared equals 9. And when we solve, we get x to equal 3 because we are taking the square root of both sides. So let's go back and look at the question. Find the measures of the sides. So again, when I have to go back and substitute, I put a 3 in here, and I put 3 times 3 gives me a side of 9. 4 times 3 gives me a side of 12. So I have a 9 and a 12. So 9 times 12 should equal 108, and it does, so it does check.